Hello everyone and welcome to the lecture on the role of mobile commerce for the industry. Okay, until now we'll introduce the module in the beginning where we talked about some of the key things when it comes to the mobile technology. Then we went into identifying some of the most popular used platforms and what's the role of those platforms in business. Then we talked about key enabled features when it comes to the mobile presence and how businesses needs to engage with the customers to kind of improve those features and also have a different presence on mobile networking in general. Then after that we looked at different key enabled features that are implemented into mobile applications that kind of helped us to understand a bit better why we need to be importing some of these comments and questions we get from customers to improve that journey throughout the process. Then we also looked at some of the key things to consider whenever we want to develop or redesign a new app. So we looked at all sorts of approaches we can take, whether we develop the application in-house or outside. Then what we also done is that after that we've looked at an important element when it comes to mobile business, which is how do you promote an app that you have already developed. And now we've done that last week, and so of course that's the role of marketing. Now that's why we looked at marketing in mobile industry in 2014. And that is because unless people know that you exist, there's actually no point of having even the most incredible app that you want. And so in this session what we want to talk about is the mobile commerce. Now we can't complete the module. Now it's a week 9, however we can't complete the module without talking about mobile commerce, which is reshaping the entire industry. And we're going to look at some of the data, we're going to look at some of the key things, but we can't finish the entire module without talking about it, because me and you and everybody else do actually use a lot of time booking things online, but also then taking those conversations offline, but then also using our mobile phones to actually make purchases and book reservations and things like that. So some of the things that I want to talk to you about in this session is pretty much the opportunities that mobile bring to us. Then we want to talk about the challenges. Now with every industry that comes in, there will always be opportunities, but those opportunities come with challenges. So it is normal that we talk about them. It's normal that we are aware of them. But of course, then in a discussion to that, we will then move into kind of covering the trends in mobile industry and what are those key trends and what's the impact that they bring to the business. Then we'll talk about career in mobile business, just to kind of sum up this whole discussion about the role of different kind of approaches you can say to develop your career in mobile business, whether that's in a mobile company or web development agency or anything like that. In fact, no matter what industry you'll be working in some point somehow you will end up working in some sort of mobile project, whether that's a mobile service, mobile application, or improving or launching or anything like that. You will in one way or another be involved with the mobile technology, and therefore we need to understand what are the key things. Then of course we'll look at some of the key things that you need to take away from the module. Now there will be another session after this one in a similar format where we're going to be talking about in general your group presentations and some of the key things you need to be aware of to create that perfect YouTube video which is for your second assignment. But in general I want you to take away some of the key things that hopefully we have managed to take away from this module and these discussions so on. So let's get to it now. Now, when it comes to the mobile business, you're going to find all sorts of acronyms, M-commerce, maybe M-commerce or mobile e-commerce, all sorts of things. But Now, the term that is pretty much picking up a lot more now, which I believe is the one that should actually be used more often, is just a mobile commerce. In fact, I think we need to drop the e. And same with e-commerce. I would rather say online commerce, or just say commerce, just because I don't believe there's any big difference when it comes to those online businesses, because you've got to have people, you've got to have resources to run them. Of course, there are different technologies involved, but ultimately they are businesses, and whether they're offline or online, that doesn't make a big difference. And so I think the mobile commerce probably is gonna pick up as a trend. It's getting a lot more popular now. Mobile commerce is pretty much the process of enabling a user to buy or sell goods or services using a mobile platform. So that's the simplest definition, but of course there's a bit more to it. If you want it to be a bit more technical, then you can look at the definition from Michael and Salter, which they talk about pretty much the process of buying and selling goods and services through wireless handheld devices, through cellular telephones, enabled by wireless technology. So if you want it to be a bit more kind of technical, you can get into that, but ultimately that is the definition of a mobile commerce. Now, let's look at something else. Let's just go back a bit and then kind of get an understanding about what were some of those key things that kind of helped and embraced mobile devices, and that is the web technology, wireless application protocol, which was designed to help these devices to communicate with each other, but also help us users to use these devices, because what web did, it actually made sure that there was a browser or a software put in place that enabled the user to kind of get that experience through the mobile devices, and therefore it's just a technology that is actually not that used too much nowadays, because we moved to TCP/IP technology. But of course, it was accessible by you could access it from the OS devices, JavaScripts, and of course it was supported by Windows as well. So in a way, that was the biggest probably kind of improvement in mobile technology. But of course, something that we now are not embracing as much. There are still platforms using it, but in general, it's not something that is widely used. Of course, that was a kind of a starting point with the mobile, because mobile was seen as considered as a point of sale kind of terminal, which in a way goes back to what we're trying to do now with all these new technologies that we're introducing into a mobile phone. Now, why that is the case? That's because we have these devices with us anytime and anywhere we go, that ultimately becomes an opportunity for the business to reach out to us, because these things are with us all the time. Now, wherever I am or wherever I go, 90% of the time my mobile device is not going to be in the distance that I can't reach with my hand. Now, if you've seen just now, I just had to return around and just get my mobile because it's just there. And so that opportunity alone brings lots of things that businesses can do, and in this case, from the payment to other services as well. Now, let's look at some of the opportunities, because I believe it's absolutely essential that we kind of get that through. We kind of get an understanding that opportunities that come with this industry. Now, of course, numbers are incredibly high, really high, but really great numbers in terms of the usage and also sales and all sorts of things. But we've got to look at those numbers, because I'll tell you in a minute why. Now, worldwide, 1.2 billion people have access to the web from mobile devices. Now, that is incredible, but you might ask why that is important, why that even matters. When you start to look at the numbers, you start to look at the opportunities as a business, because once you have those numbers of those billions of people using these devices, what that means that you could ultimately reach out to those people with a good presence on mobile platforms and actually turn those numbers into sales. Ka-ching, ka-ching, right? That is possible. But of course, there are all sorts of things you need to get them right, and we talked about them from the beginning in the module. But the whole idea is that that's why we look at the numbers, and the numbers do mean a lot. So when we look at also trends, now of course, the biggest trends when it comes to usage and booking and surfing online and all of them, they actually go to the PC and other devices about 85%, but then 15% is pretty much all mobile. So, and that number is growing super fast. In the last 3-4 years, that usage went increased really quickly, simply because what has happened is that we had companies building up all these attractive services on top of mobile platforms that enabled us to connect in a more personal level with these mobile devices, and then share more, and then connect more, and engage with others more, and also reach out to others more as well. And that what I'm talking about are the social networking channels. So these technologies have actually helped. But of course, the mobile itself has probably been the greatest kind of support the social networking channels have received, because thanks to the mobile, social networking channels have received this opportunity to grow and to reach out to more people. Now, when we look at some other information, of course, when it comes to the payment, like one of the biggest things, of course, PayPal Mobile in 2012 alone, sales through mobile, of course, went for 14 billion. So $14 billion dollars in sales in 2012. So that is incredible. And therefore, when you look at this number that and all these sales that has happened through mobile alone, that is incredible. Then of course, if you look at Amazon as well, they probably from the last year's sales, they probably done incredibly well. But just in 2009, when you look at it, they had 1 billion of sales using a mobile phone. Now you can see that some of these numbers, when you start to study them and when you start to analyze the opportunities that come along, they are incredible, because those numbers to businesses, if done properly, they can become cash, they can become customers. And that's why that's something to think about. Now, of course, all of this makes something quite interesting, and that's the fact that search is becoming the #1 activity through the mobile service, okay, through the mobile platform. So in other words, one of the most popular things and activities that happen in a mobile is a search. Now you might say, why search is so important? Well, when you think about it for a second, you start to get an idea that search could actually become a sale. Now, with all of this incredible features that we have in mobile phones, from sensors to multi-touch to location-based services, and all of these, they actually make it so easy for us to buy something using a mobile phone that is incredible. So those searches that start in a mobile phone could become sales on itself. So the conversion rate could be really high. But the only problem is businesses need to have a really good presence also on mobile platforms to be able to get there. And so to be able to get that sale and convert those searches and those visitors into customers. So you can see that even with that search alone, that's incredible. But in addition to that search in most times starts mobile and then continues with the PC, continues with tablets and laptops and other devices as well. Or sometimes it starts with tablets and other devices and it ends with a mobile. So whichever way you go, in one way or another, mobile is going to be enabling that continuous engagement with web services. And that's something that companies need to understand, of connecting these services together. And so it just makes sense to us to have those services combined, so that when the user starts using a PC or start using a mobile, they can pick up that journey whenever they want in any device they want. So in other words, those connected services are going to be absolutely essential. Now, when you start to look at some of the things as well, some of the research that's been done, for instance, Google is really interested to publish as much as they can, and they according to some of the research that they've done, they kind of concluded that not having a mobile optimized website is like closing your store for one day. Now, if you start to think about this for a second, if you closed a store for one day, a week, that means 4 days a month, and that's pretty much 48 days a year. Now, if you start to calculate how much that can impact the business, that's quite incredible, right? And so that's when businesses can't afford not to be thinking clearly and having a strategy put in place that one by one they start to build, improve, and also engage with the customers in a mobile platform. Now, when you start to look at the things, of course, the searches come in all sorts of places. We search while we watch TV, we'll search while we talk to our friends, at our home, we search while we cook. Okay, so search is really, really powerful feature. But again, as I said earlier, search could actually become a transaction. And that's why it's quite important to keep that in mind. And of course, the search in general kept growing extraordinarily fast in the last 3-4 years, which is a great opportunity for the business to pick up on those activities and actually turn them into customers. Now, of course, some of the key things that are normally, when you look at the trends that are purchased in mobile platforms, start from the gaming, apps, booking, entertainment, cinemas, movies, and things like that. And let's keep growing throughout the year. And of course, with the better customer journeys that are being offered in every single platform today, that is a lot easier now to actually convert those visitors because of the complete journey that is being provided to the customers. Now, let's look a little bit about the trends. Let's see some of the key trends when it comes to mobile, because now some of the key things when building a strategy will come quite handy. Now, one of the key things when it comes to trends, mobile trends, of course there's so many, but I just collected several in here. Location-based services are really, really important. Now, why location-based services, or LBS that is called as an acronym, is important? It is because until mobile took off, during the social networking kind of growth, we had almost every information we needed about our customers, things that they like, education, universities where they've been, friends they hang out with, books they read, cinemas they go, movies they like, all sorts of things. We had just so much information about our customers, but there was one thing we didn't know, and that was when do they do those things, at what is the location, what is the time when they do those things. We knew about the time obviously, but we didn't know when, where were they based when they did those searches and when they did those things, right? But now with the mobile, this entire process is a lot easier. Now we have a complete journey. Now we know everything that I just mentioned, and then when they do these bookings, where is the actual location of a typical customer. So we have a complete journey that helps us to get this complete understanding about the customer, and that's why location-based services are really important. Social networking, I already talked about it, is a trend that has had a great impact in the business in general, but it's actually having a continuous impact as well. That is, the reason for that is because you have billions of people who are going online, engaging, creating content, publishing, and actually enriching those discussions with all sorts of updates and publications that they do. And that's incredible. But in addition to that, mobile has been probably the best infrastructure or the best opportunity that the social networks has ever received in the last 10 years. The reason for that is because, of course, using mobile phones that are so personal to us, we are all engaging more in social networking sites simply because it's so easy, so straightforward. By having our mobile phones, we could just do that straight away without a problem. And that has helped these social networking channels to reach out to more customers, but also to reach out in a way that now, of course, Facebook makes most of its money, advertising money, using from their mobile platform, and that is incredible. And that was from in the last 2 years, when suddenly Facebook was picking up, and the advertising revenues were growing incredibly quick, simply because of the mobile phones and in-app advertising. Of course, much more mobile search. We talked about it. Search is everywhere, and at any time we use our mobile phones to search, and again, that is incredible. But of course, in follow-up to that, mobile commerce is kind of growing faster and faster. That is because of all of these technologies that are being embraced together with the web, with the social, with the mobile, location-based services, are all engaged together, in other words, to be able to provide a good customer journey for everyone engaged in these platforms. Now, of course, mobile payment, we're going to talk about it in a minute, but mobile payment is also becoming a lot easier now to kind of use our mobile phones to pay for all sorts of services and applications. And lots of companies are launching their own applications. We're going to talk about a few examples shortly, that are using their own applications to kind of get customers to pay. In other words, you don't even need to have a credit card. Now, I normally say that shopping in today's digital age that we live in, it should be more about the experience and less about paying. So in other words, you don't have to think about paying when you've already seen something, you made up your mind, you know that you like it, you know you're going to buy it. The last thing you have to worry about is, getting the cash out or getting the credit card or doing anything else really that is hard to do, or it does take a bit of time. So you don't have to be thinking about, so all that payment needs to go seamless. And now with the help of different types of technologies like NFC or FIDs or things like that, is becoming a lot easier to do just that. Of course, object recognition, the search using images, is being embraced by Google. It's actually quite a great opportunity. In addition to that, it just allows us to kind of move from text-based search and the voice-based search that we're already doing to actually search on the web using our camera. Just take a photo of a product and then keep searching for similar types of products. So Google is embracing that. It's something that is picking up, but of course it's going to be quite a great opportunity. Instead of typing things or even speaking, you could just take a photo and then search with it. Then of course mobile instant messages. Now that is growing super fast. Now I'm not going to say anything apart from WhatsApp that was acquired by Facebook. Now I'm not going to say much about it because you already heard the news, but that just to show you the power of these communication services that have reached out to billions of people. So therefore, I also tweeted about this, but Facebook purchased WhatsApp and purchase the numbers because they want to reach out to more people, and they are incredibly interested to reach out to more potential subscribers to their services, and therefore by buying WhatsApp they pretty much purchased another billions of potential customers. And so, in addition to that, another trend which keeps growing, of course, the usage of email, video, and multimedia sharing is becoming incredible. And that is because using these devices now, they are becoming incredibly smart. But in addition to that, with the help of the network providers now and the fastest internet connections as well with the 4G, it's actually becoming quite easy to get things over. And I could be recording this entire session using a mobile phone and just probably publish all of it in my YouTube channel. That probably wouldn't be a problem. And so, as you can see, in terms of all of these opportunities that come, that is because it's making it really easy for us to share the content and share the services. The next thing, of course, is mobile. It goes without saying. If you go in the App Store now, probably the top 3 or top 4 app is whether it's a free or paid or commercial app, is probably going to be a game. And that is quite incredible, and that is because with all the features embedded in smart devices now, it becomes an incredible platform for entertainment industry, for gaming to get from it. And of course, faster mobile processors, it goes without saying. Now we have incredibly fast mobile phones, smartphones that not only long ago, you know, PCs were not as fast as today's smartphones, and therefore you can imagine you have a mobile device in your pocket which does a lot more than a PC did some years ago. Okay, and that's quite incredible, because imagine all the opportunities to do all sorts of things, from gaming to recording to publishing to searching, shopping, creating, editing. All of those things is incredible. And of course, these processors are now going incredibly fast with dual and quad core type of processor, which are being launched every year to speed up that process and make it so fast. Now, what are the ways to shop? We do all sorts of ways. Sometimes we go and search while we watch a movie, and then we go and buy offline. Sometimes we search while we're in the store, and then we buy online when we go back. Sometimes we check the prices. Sometimes we talk to our friends and see what they have to say about something that we might be interested to buy. And so we do all sorts of things. And of course, a part of these services are, as I said earlier, location-based applications as well, that make it so easy for us to search from wherever we are by just enabling this feature into our phone and making it easy and making it straightforward for us to do just that. And of course, in addition to that, what that means is that it's an opportunity for businesses to reach out onto customers and actually offer them special deal discounts and sales and things like that. And that is quite incredible. Of course, what are the key features in mobile shopping? Now let's look at some of the key things. Of course, reviews, it goes without saying, reviews and recommendations are absolutely essential. And if you head to your App Store or Play Store, you'll see that, you know, more popular apps get downloaded more, and that's incredible, because you can just see that those that pick up and the users kind of recommend those apps, they just grow really fast. And then in addition to that, social notification features are going to be really important, because they help us to share things that we like with all our friends and all our people that we connected in social networks. And then of course, recommendation on similar products are important feature when it comes to the mobile shopping. In other words, some really good apps in mobile platforms today, they have all of these features embedded in them. And of course, that means that they're not just connecting with customers, but they're actually engaged with the customers, and so as a follow-up to that engagement, a sale can happen too. Now when we look at some of the key things, how to build up a mobile commerce, successful mobile commerce strategy. Now, one of the key things, of course, is to have a mobile infrastructure that helps you to do that. One of the first things is that to embed all of these things into that platform that you are building, and that needs to be part of those application, web services, or mobile versions of your website as well. Now, location-based services are absolutely important. They need to be part of every single service that you offer using your mobile platforms. And of course, then LBM, which is location-based marketing, is being used as an acronym a lot, simply because the opportunity that location-based services offer to the companies are incredible. Because that just means that as soon as you have managed to embed location-based marketing or location-based services into your application, that means that you can reach out onto customers whenever they are close to your store and be able to offer them special deals, or be able to just inform them on a new update or a new product that just been launched. And of course, in addition to that, part of that infrastructure can be a Bluetooth communication as well. Now, most of the applications you connect with, or most of the services in a near-based location you're connected, is probably done Bluetooth. Sometimes you maybe not even aware of it, but that's how it happens. And Bluetooth is quite powerful because it allows businesses to reach out to customers even up to 10 meters. So in other words, anytime they're around the store, they are able to connect with customers, offer special deals or offer discounts on the products that customers want to hear from. NFC payment, of course, near field communication is absolutely essential, is really helping up all this payment industry in the mobile to pick up, and pretty much almost in every single mobile phone that it gets manufactured, there is an NFC integrated into that as well. Social features need to be part of that process, and of course email and telephone as well. Now, email, of course, is still an important element, and it's not going anywhere because we still read emails, we still check emails. In fact, email conversion rate in a mobile phone is a lot higher than people think it is, and then of course that with a telephone as well. Now, all of these points in here would help a company to build up a complete customer journey in a mobile phone by embedding some of these points into their strategy, which then of course needs to be embedded into the development process on those projects. Now, building relevant mobile commerce, there are some of the key things to do. Of course, we've talked about social networking. There needs to be a clear strategy on engaging with customers on social networks, which then needs to be also embedded into the mobile phones, embedded into that mobile presence as well. And then we also need to be able to use these powerful platforms to do what? To learn about our customers, to really understand who they are. So this way we can embed so much information into our customer management system that it becomes so easy to understand and to tailor messages, content, updates that we're publishing on our social networking sites or on our mobile platforms as well, because we know so much. So it's not just about selling, it's actually about delivering relevant content or also relevant offers or discounts and things like that. So again, that ultimately impacts the conversion rate on the business, which is of course really important. Then of course, all of that information can be extracted from social networking platforms, which I call them as a gold mine and opportunities for the businesses. And of course, all of these needs to be embedded into the landing pages that you have created for your business, and also on the offers for the rest of your mobile commerce presence. And that is absolutely essential in terms of putting these things together and trying to get to the point where by managing these two things together, you will be able to build a relevant mobile commerce, not just a mobile commerce that is just trying to sell and sell and sell, but actually a mobile business that tries to connect first, engage, provide relevant content, and then once they prove themselves, then start to sell things to the customers as well. Now, some of the good case studies is Starbucks mobile card. Now, Starbucks mobile card is pretty much a process of embedding a Starbucks card into their application. Some people kind of argue that this is more like a marketing application, but in reality is actually more mobile e-commerce, because when you start to look at it, you can actually pay with this application anytime you like, and then of course you've got as many types of opportunities to top up your card with more money using your credit cards. In other words, you don't actually have to have your credit card with you as long as you have this application and a connection to the internet. Another good example is Asda on the go, which gives you an opportunity to pretty much, when I talked about connecting services, this is a good example of an online and offline grocery store, one of the largest supermarkets in the UK. When you start a search online and you start to put your groceries in the wish list or something like that, or just save them, you can pick up that same journey in a mobile phone. You can either complete your shopping on a mobile phone or go back into the website and then complete the journey there. So that entire journey is so easy to follow and is so succinct with each other that it makes it a really good experience for the customers. In addition to that, of course, as an application, also gets several really good reviews in the App Store. In fact, when you go there, it's probably around 4.2 or 4.3 off stars, which they've done really good. And the way they've done it is that they keep updating with the new things. They keep getting feedback from customers. They're making it really easy for the customers to actually submit these comments and feedback to them, so they can embed those things into the new future updates. And of course, finding local stores as well is just as easy as just tapping in there and identifying location-based services through their application. So in other words, Asda app actually offers the complete thing, which makes it really easy for the customers to finish that process. What are the most mobile challenges? Now, let's look at some of the key things. Like as I said earlier, like with any new technology, all these opportunities come with challenges, and therefore, like as same with mobile, there are all sorts of things to be thinking about. We're going to be talking about some of them in a minute. But of course, when you start to look, still 80% according to VOMA 2012, still 80% of retail still don't have a mobile presence, optimized mobile presence. Now that is incredible, because when you think about it for a second, you start to get an idea that is all a missed opportunity of these billions of users in a mobile platform that kind of go here and there and search around, travel around different platforms. They could actually become a typical customer. Let's look at some of the mobile components. Now, some of the key components, according to the research that we've done recently, and of course, that combines the literature and the frameworks, and also with the industry reports and white papers. The optimized or unoptimized content for sites is an essential bit. That seems to be coming here and there all the time. Again, mobile is not PC and mobile is not tablet. So the content and the design and everything need to be tailored, designed for the mobile. Okay, and you can't just start thinking, how can I squeeze all those 2-3 pages of text from a news article on a website into a mobile? And that doesn't work like that, because a mobile user is different from a web user, because when you're in the web you want different things, when you're in a mobile you want totally different things, depending on the situation you're in. But also ultimately we shouldn't be forgetting the fact that is a smaller screen, and we need to know that in that screen there is fine amount of things you can put in. Okay. And so that's an important. Security goes without saying, is really important, because of course it sends a good message to the customers that you're putting that thing into place, and that part of a component in developing, testing a mobile commerce website. The other component, which is pretty much the one that we already talked about the customer journey. Customer journey needs to be as smooth as possible, whether you're starting with a mobile or you're starting with web. It needs to flow whenever a customer is in the same business or in the same retail company. Then of course landing pages. Again, these landing pages need to be designed, needs to be optimized for a mobile presence. And then of course pop-up windows are a big no-no. You can't start adding pop-up windows in a tiny screen like the ones on most mobile phones, because it's just really hard to close. It just doesn't work, and of course it just puts away most of the customers. Then of course all of this leads to the user experience, which needs to be throughout the time tested before it actually goes anywhere. Now, you'd be surprised that even large companies sometimes are not very careful with the testing, and therefore so many things go out and get launched, but they're not actually complete. And in addition to that, part of the testing needs to be the A/B testing, because of course it's a really powerful way of testing different versions of the pages or components with different groups of customers, and then picking up on those that actually work the best. So they are really powerful opportunities that we can improve different parts of the mobile presence features. Mobile payments, and now just quickly, of course, you'll start to see that there are two types of payments. Micropayment less than £10 and done all sorts of different ways: subscriptions, user accounts tied to credit cards like iTunes, direct of carrier billing straight away. Then macro payments above £10, where pretty much prepayment like Starbucks card we just talked about, and then from mobile payment or a full web transaction that normally happen through the website. Now, offline contactless payments. Now, of course, NFC leads in there, and we just talked about it. It's a technology that is pretty much part of almost every single new mobile handset that is getting manufactured. And of course, RFIDs are also an important technology now that really helping in changing the supply chain industry in general, but also affecting the overall mobile commerce as well. Now, all of this, if you wanted to go for a mobile business career, these are some of the things just to be aware according to the research and some publications. Mobile web developers in London in general are getting paid pretty much between £40,000 and £55,000. Mobile designers in that range. Mobile test analysts actually get quite good money as well if you wanted to go in that direction. Of course, as I said to you earlier, even if you don't go and work directly for the mobile agencies that build things, right, in one way or another, in whichever industry you're going to be, you will at some point be involved either in researching, identifying trends, or improving a current mobile platform for your future business. So it's no choice whether you will be involved or not. So I just hope that some of the things that we have covered in this module are going to be useful to you. And of course, mobile and financial analyst. So if you wanted to work in the city, then that's going to be all good, because you'll get probably more than £70,000, of course, with experience. But the financial center really gonna love that. Now, of course, you can see that they understand the power of mobile, and they know that choosing not to go into mobile is probably not a very intelligent thing to do, and therefore it's more about how you're going to do it, whether you're going to do it or not. Business development manager is around £50,000 to £60,000. Of course, is another great opportunity if you wanted to actually develop some of these things in the future. Now, what are the things that I want you to take away? Well, mobile is a lot more difficult and a lot more complex than it looks like, and I hope you've understood some of the key things and fundamentals throughout this module, and of course to kind of build something together for you. The next one is optimization. Of course, requires a lot more effort. You can see that optimizing things, whether content or sales or just in general optimization for search engines, is a lot harder and a lot more complex than we all think of. Apps, whenever they are built, they need to be built with the user in mind. We can't just be building applications without, it doesn't matter how cool they are, doesn't matter how nicely designed they are, without knowing who we are building these for. So that's absolutely important. Mobile and social do go together. It's really hard to imagine mobile without social. They really go hand in hand. So that's why social need to be very well integrated into the mobile, and of course vice versa. Mobile needs to be very well integrated into the strategy of your social networking channels that you run. Assessment of the mobile presence is absolutely the key. We really need to be able to know how to assess presence and overall success and performance on mobile platforms. Then ability to to create budgets and to know how much things cost is really important as well, because you need to know how much those changes or improvements in the mobile technology actually are going to impact your overall investment into mobile platforms. We need to be able to prepare to match functionality with business models. So I hope that we've also managed to understand that it is hard to be able to build something that is going to be easily kind of embedded into different functionalities of every business, because different customers want different things. But of course, mobile is the present and the future of social and business. So you can't really, as I said to you earlier, just kind of ignore this process, because it's really changing. Everything is changing the way we search, we shop, we engage with friends and all of that. Now, before I just finish, I want to show you a quick thing that I've just created for you into this flip chart. That is just because I believe that that's a skill that is going to be handed to you wherever you go and whatever you do. Okay, now one of the key things, of course, is that you're going to kind of learn how to plan things, right? That's part of your success. You've got to be a good planner. Now, if you don't plan, of course, you're meant to fail. Now, in follow-up to plan, the next thing is that you need to kind of learn to become very analytical with the skills that you do, and then it means that all information, the data you find, you kind of get into depth in analyzing, organizing, and structuring them. And then, of course, as a result of that, you need to become a really good designer too. So now, you've really got to be good in presenting things in a nice way. It's really important, because once you're very analytical, you've got a good, credible information to share. You've got to present it well. It's really important. After that, you also have to have these good managing skills that becomes part of that process, because if you're managing it well, you're also managing to recommend things as a result of your research and your critical skills, which then all go hand in hand to help you become a really professional and credible presenter, or like someone who's submitting a report or something like that, because the industry, remember, will pay you for the value you bring to the marketplace. And the value comes from different things, but from being a good planner, being a good strict research critical. And I hope that during your studies within my module, but also in different other modules at university, you've improved that skill, because the critical skill that you gain here is going to be useful for your entire life, and it's going to really help you to be more confident and also reach out to different companies and to different people with your services that you want to offer. And so, as a result of all of this, an important bit is also to enjoy and have fun while doing it. So that was pretty much it for this session. I hope that was useful to you, and as I said to you, our next session is going to be on the role of the videos for the mobile platforms, and we're also going to then touch base on some of the key things you need to be aware of building and designing your videos for your group presentations for YouTube. And that will be our last session. Thank you very much indeed. And again, just to sum up, we looked at some of the key things when it comes to mobile business, opportunities that mobile bring, some of the challenges that come with the mobile, some of the trends, and then we also looked at things that I would like you to take with you in your career, and to take with you in projects that you do in the future from a mobile business. Thank you very much indeed.